How did that start?
I don't know.
Just through the years it's
It
developed?
just seemed like you sort of wanted them.
So you just always got them?
Well, we kind of got that idea that you wanted them when every time you'd come to the house, the first thing you did was head for the cookie jar.
Yeah.
That gave us away, huh?
That gave you away.
So anything you want to say to the camera?
Well, it's been real special to us to have our grandchildren, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And you're going to make me cry if I keep that.
Yeah. We just feel that our grandkids are the best ever. And now we got a great granddaughter, and she's a little doll, and we just wish we could see more of her, but she's so lively that we can't keep up with her. But we sure miss her when we don't see her. And we got a very nice granddaughter-in-law. And we're going to be real happy when Larry can get home again and be with his family.
Okay.
I'm
What?
supposed to turn that off when I'm doing this.
Any advice to future grandkids?
Well, the best advice I can give you
You think we'll have more grandkids?
Oh yeah.
is
More grandkids?
Okay,
You mean
great.
Great grandkids.
probably grandkids.
I'm sorry,
I
Grandma.
don't know about him. Oh yeah, maybe we
Arnie.
could still have. Yeah.
But the best advice you could give them is to just accept Jesus and stay by him. And just look to him whenever you need help. Because he's down through the years, there's been so many times when God has brought us through something that we can't understand how we survived.
Grandpa had a temperature of 108.9, and the nurse told him the only other person that had any higher was 109, and he was already dead.
This was in the Naval Hospital in Bremerton.
And when that was in the Navy, and then in Spokane, before he came over to college, he worked so hard, and I don't know what he got. He had 6 specialists, and the only thing they could come up with was maybe it was malaria. And it was over 107. That day I was in the hospital with him, and the nurse told me visiting hours were over, and I said, well, I'm not going because he wants me to stay. And the next thing I knew, she came in with a big bucket of big chunks of ice, pulled the sheets down. She said, here, help me. And so we just took that ice and rubbed all over him. But then it was over 107. So both those times were close for him. And then I think you probably remember that Easter.
Yeah.
That after his surgery he got infection, and I had to call 911, and we went in, and then the doctor told me he wouldn't know if he'd make it for 24 hours. So
Yeah, I remember that.
that was, so God has really brought us through a lot, and now a couple of times with me too. So
Yeah, and this last time was the worst, where she had 6 bypasses, and they had to cut her leg so much to get veins to use for the bypasses. And everything went fine, but until I got an infection in the lower part of her legs, and then we had to fight that. And
but I was never really sick with it. I think that was a lot of God's help there too. I didn't have a fever or anything with it. So, but big deep cuts that had to fill in from the center in.
And they were over an inch wide. The cuts were open that much over an inch,
about
And they gradually
2 or 3 inches deep.
filled in. And now it's just down to they're all
Scab.
healed now. There's one little bit of scab on the lower position of one leg.
Wow.
So the Lord has been with us through thick and thin.
So the key to your guys' marriage really was putting God's faith in it.
That's right.
That's why I picked him.
Because of God.
That ain't to say I was perfect.
Because I thought he was a good Christian boy.
Okay.
And we liked the same things.
Now, did you guys, when you got engaged, now, tell me your engagement story when he asked you to marry him, because that's a funny story. Now, did he ever really propose to you?
No, not really, because, see, we'd just left church, got in the car and started out, and here, the house kitty corner from the church was for rent. And meaning my family, I said, oh, we should rent that house. Because it seemed a long ways then to me, but we had to go 3 miles to get home or go to church. And a lot of times I'd have to go downtown and on the bus and transfer and get another bus and come up to church. So I thought that would be really great to live so close to church. And of course, Grandpa picked up on the idea and he said, yeah, that's a good idea. And then he started, what do you think about the idea? Wasn't that it?
Yeah.
What do you think about the idea? And so I tried to explain I meant my parents. But he wouldn't let up. So finally I said, well, maybe. I never did say yes, so we don't know for sure if we're really married yet.
And that's why we got that little sign out on our television that says, no, what? How does that go?
No, maybe.
Yeah.
So did you guys always know were you always confident that you guys, when you guys were engaged, that you were going to be married? Or did you ever wonder if either one of you was, if the marriage was really going to work? You know, did you ever have thoughts about not getting married to each other after you were engaged?
No.
Not really.
You
Pretty sure of it.
Yep.
just knew that you guys were right.
I should tell you about our first kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he brought me home, and before I went in the house, he kissed me. And then he said, no, that wasn't so bad, was it? Oh.
All right. Well, unless there's anything else you guys want to share.
Rodney was always doing something, wasn't he?
Probably. Yeah. See,
Can't remember.
He's 10 years younger than I am, so he's my little brother. Yeah.
And he always thought it was fun to
Embarrass him.
and
And
trying
then
to embarrass him.
When I first started going out with Grandpa, he had a calabash pipe. Do you know what that is? Like Sherlock Holmes has.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so after our first date, I came in and pinned up to my mirror was this drawing Eleanor had drawn of him with his big calabash. So, they were given strict orders. They weren't to tease me.
Is that all you want to share, or anything else?
Hard to think right now.
Yeah.
Organize it a little bit.
He's got
Yeah.
it going.
So, when did you join the Navy?
It was the day after Pearl Harbor.
Did Pearl Harbor have a lot to do with why you joined?
Well, I knew that I was going to have to go, and I didn't want to go in the Army. So I signed up for the Navy.
So it wasn't more that you were mad that Pearl Harbor happened, it was more that you knew you were going to go in?
It was partly that, too.
So just a combination of both?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that day because it was a Sunday and we had just come home from church And our milkman was there delivering milk, and he told us that the Japanese had bombed Pearl Harbor. So then we went right in and started listening to the radio, and it was a sad day.
I don't think I had ever heard of Pearl Harbor or had any idea where it was.
Neither. No.
I soon found out. I spent a bit of time down there.
I think we kind of expected war in a way because, oh goodness, that was when I was in grade school. And one day we heard outside somebody yelling, "Extra, extra." And the teacher just put a fear in that whole class. She said, "Oh, I wonder if the war has started." And so we were all scared. But I don't know what that extra was. It wasn't that war.
Yeah, it wasn't that the war had started. So what were you gonna say?
Well, I think I was about Jennifer's age when Pearl Harbor. And so when Grandpa came home from the war 4 years later, I was older.
So how old were you when you got married?
Me?
Yeah.
19,
And Grandpa was how old?
26.
That was a big difference. So didn't anyone ever give you a bad time about the difference of age?
No.
No.
Not really?
I was older in my actions, I think.
Yeah.
More.
You had to grow up then.
You were mature.
I'd been working and,
Well, we know
I
Grandpa.
was going to college at the time, and every night I would go on the bus to Cheney, and then every night when I came back to Spokane, he'd be standing there waiting for me. After we got to know each other.
And Grandpa wasn't, like I said, he's a rascal, so I'm sure he wasn't acting as mature as he was, so it probably evened out.
Probably.
I ain't gonna tell.
Now, you two are a fun couple. Has that really helped your marriage, too?
Yeah.
Having a good sense of humor and
Yep.
being able to laugh some things off?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Although, Grandpa, I'm sure you are scared of Grandma. Because I know when Grandma says something, all of us grandkids listen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Grandma struck fear into us a long time ago.
I remember something Jennifer said a couple of years ago that really meant a lot to me. Now I don't know if I can say it without crying. She said, I was washing dishes over at your house. And she came up like she was so shocked, and she said, "Grandma, you never get mad. You're always smiling." So I thought, well, boy, that's a good compliment. That was special.
Then again,
Thank you, Jennifer.
I guess living with Grandpa kind of forces you to smile all
I
the
think
time.
so.
She has to outright laugh sometimes.
Right.
Well, you guys just compliment each other really well.
But Larry was the one that was a little imp. At one time, he was out in the yard and he had the hose and he was snipping it around, and I came up the steps from the driveway up, and he turned the hose right on me. He
Well,
wouldn't turn it
get
off.
mad.
We wouldn't turn it off. Finally, I got it turned off. But yeah, he does some funny
He
things.
was
Then another
only-
time,
He was only like 3.
yeah, it was
then.
pretty.
Yeah.
Another time, I'd come home from work and I was tired and I was laying on the davenport, my eyes shut. He come over and he lifted one eye and peeked in to see if I was there.
That was a, oh, you
We've
kids
had a
really-
lot of fun with our grandkids.
Yeah. You kids.
And we expect to have a lot more.
Been fun to go to all your games and all the things you're doing. Being proud of you.
Yep, that we are.
if there's one thing that each of you wants your future great grandkids to know,
Oh dear.
and future, grandchildren-in-law, or however you would say that, what would it be?
I think the first thing we would want them to be would be